Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great edition of Stars of Big Sky Country, the series that puts a spotlight on those at the high school, collegiate, or professional level that have made an impact right here in the 406. And today, it's the collegiate level. Once again, we're talking with a Montana, well, really a Great Falls legend who's branching out further into the state of Montana. He's a former Bison and now an Ore Digger celebrating an undefeated season and a Frontier Conference championship. It is the one and only Wyatt DeVoss, man. Welcome. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, dude. It's the holiday
Good.
season. I don't have any Ore Digger gear, so you get this year's Bison t-shirt, the Focus Fly Around and Finish. But you're all teched out. I
Yeah,
love to
heck
see
yeah.
it.
Coach Cheetah actually just gave me a nice shirt too for the upcoming off season, so I should have
Nice.
wore that.
Well, we are going to cover your time at Tech, obviously, because you're, I think, in your third year there. My God, does the time fly by? But we always kind of go through the progression of the timeline, high school, maybe even, junior high or however far back that you can think. But, first and foremost, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Glad you had some time on your break that we could sit down and catch up. I know you and I talked. Your senior year, you were a three-sport athlete, and I was spotlighting those then, and I'm excited to see how much has changed. So, first thing right out the gate, remembering as far back as you can, one of the big questions we ask here is how did growing up in either Montana or specifically Great Falls shape you into the athlete and person that you are today?
Oh, geez. Growing up, I mean, I had a good time growing up. I went to elementary school at Chief Joseph and made some football friends there that we played football all the way up to like middle school at East Junior High and um, then the Great Falls High, and it's just lifelong friends. So I enjoyed it all, and they were pretty good about pushing me and getting me in the weight room, and we kept each other pretty accountable.
So how did you know football was going to be the sport? Because like I said, you were a three-sport athlete. You were good at all three of them. You did basketball and then you threw, for track and field. And I say, why football? Because you'd think, oh, it's a family thing, but I've come to find out it's not. Your brother wants to go and steer wrestle, which is something very interesting. So for you specifically, like, how did you know that football was going to be the sport for you and your path?
Well, I've always enjoyed the contact and like the like getting the sack, or a TFL. It was a different feeling. I loved it. Fell in love with the sport, and I mean the sport like shapes you for life. Honestly, as a man, like at Tech, where it's crazy how they are so good about like showing you what it takes to be an outstanding football player and an outstanding person off the field too. And it's all sorts of great wisdom to shape yourself to know for your future as a man. So I love it all.
Well, one thing I got to know from your point of view, being a football player, is so I've talked to, Mason Crawl last season and then Cole Taylor this season, and he's quarterback turned, linebacker, where, you were on the line, and then of course Mason Crawl was a linebacker as well, but he played some running back, and I think you did as well. But Cole loves being linebacker. He loves chasing and not being the chased. Mason loved being the hunter, not the hunted. So is it a Montana thing that you guys are more drawn to defense to be the hunter than the hunted, or is that something that you find is more common the more time you spend at Tech? Guys going from if they played both ways, they want to be defense more than offense.
Yeah, geez. I guess all my life I was always the hunter, and I loved the contact, getting a great knockback on the offensive lineman and making a nice push pull move for the TFL or a sack. It's just a different satisfying feeling for me. And it pretty much welded myself into being a defensive end. And I just loved just the contact. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, you had the all-time sack record for Great Falls High, and then your brother came in and decided to break that, so it's staying in the DeVos family for however long. But was there a favorite sack you had in high school?
Oh, geez. I'd have to say probably the one that broke the record. I mean, that one was just in against Belgrade. That was a magical day. Like that was when I was the crowned king, homecoming king, and
Oh.
and like the next quarter, after halftime, I broke the record, and it just like I don't know. That night was different. So that was a pretty fun one for me. I'd have to say the Belgrade sack to break the record.
Now, I know with Cole, he brought up something very interesting because, the Cats and Grizz, they pull a lot of talent from the state of Montana. They could pull from other states, but they seem to like to have their cores be guys from here. It's a new phrase that I'm saying that we've coined here on the show called Montana Tough. Irish Firthmeyer, who I know came from the
Mhm.
Midwest. His first year wrestling said there's very much a difference between Midwest tough and Montana tough. And I wanted to know, do you believe that as well? Is there a thing as Montana tough?
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. I mean, every kid that comes out to be a great college football player, has a great work ethic in the weight room, and it's just they're blue collar. It's I'd agree with you.
Well, Cole said that it was an experience for him to play with guys that he had played with before, but then also that he had played against. Taco Deller came up. He said, I hated playing against that guy because he could take these plays and extend them out for forever. And now I get to play with him and watch him do his thing for my team. And it's a great experience. You have no shortage of that at Tech. I mean, it's you and Anthony Oakes are on the line. But who's been somebody that you played with before that you're excited to play with again, and then who's somebody that you hated playing against that you love playing with now?
Oh, jeez. Um, oh man. Well, it was a great time playing next to Zach Newton, like at Tech
Oh
again.
yeah.
Man. He was an upperclassman with me, and but he's graduating this spring now, and it's I don't know. I'm gonna miss Newt, that's for sure. He's my best friend, and gosh, I'd have to say I don't, I don't know if I had anybody I hated playing against. I loved the competition with everybody, and I ever had respect for everybody. They were Cole Taylor. He's a great football player, man. He's a good friend and a great person in general, and he's very humble. And I had respect for him. I didn't hate playing against him at all. He was a fun one to play against.
All right, well, back to you and high school before we move on to the meat of the college stuff. So, obviously, you had a chance to be under two great coaches at Great Falls High. Cheetah finally got his first playoff one. It was on the road, it was down in Helena.
Yep.
And it seemed like it was a very long time coming, even though he's only been the coach for, what will be going into his fifth season this year. But for you to have two great coaches like that, I mean, was there one that stood out to you more as far as your development, or did each kind of bring their own molding for your development to the player that you are now at Tech?
Let's say they each brought their own different, unique set of coaching skills. Like Coach Wrangler, my defensive end coach in high school, was great at firing us up and wanting to get us going before the game. And I'd say Coach Cheetah, he's amazing, an amazing coach. And well, first I can't forget Coach Sampson. He Coach Mark. He was a great coach my junior year, and I mean everybody loved him. He was great. He was funny at the end of practice, and kept everybody like with high spirits and stuff. Like if it was a hard week of practice, and Coach Cheetah, he's um, carrying the coaching of at Great Falls High like perfect. I mean, everybody loves him there. He's a great lifting coach to have, and yeah, he's a great leader for that school for sure. And Coach Kyle Sampson, he's another amazing coach. Like he's obviously led the Tech football team to a record breaking season, and that's a special thing to do, and that takes a talent that you need the players and everybody all in, as one fist. And he has great assistant coaches, and that's just something special. And I love it all. Coaches are great. Every coach I've had in my life were amazing.
Well, for you as a high school player, you pretty much got to check off like all the boxes, like your bingo card, if you had one, would have pretty much been blacked out. You were the 40, the legacy number that's become it had its 10th year this year, and your brother was another one of those.
Mhm.
And then you were homecoming king, as you mentioned. You had the sack record, and then you also played in the Shrine game. Is any of in the world of high school sports, is there any honor that in your mind stands out above another, specifically for somebody at Great Falls High? Like, is it the 40, the Shrine Game? Like, in your mind, like, what was the greatest part about playing high school football?
Oh gosh. I'd say the greatest thing playing high school football was, the awards are one thing, and that just comes with hard work, but I'd have to say the brotherhood that everybody had and like the coaching, it was a major like bond that we all had, and we all, loved each other and playing for each other, and we'd let it all out on the field together. And, you know, that's something you just gotta, kind of look back on and be like, damn, it was a great thing to have in life. And growing up playing high school football, it was just a different thing. But I'd have to say I love the 40 award. That was one of my favorites for sure. It was just a major honor to have that jersey. And yeah, that's all I got to say on that.
Did it feel like it was more pressure wearing the 40 and not just being just another captain? Because there's, I mean, four captains, but when you're 40, it's like it's almost shifted into a fifth gear that's not usually there.
I honestly didn't feel much pressure with it at all. I just took it in like one big honor, and like, you're gonna have to stand out now because, I had confidence in myself at the time, and I still do, that I could do it. I could be a leader, and I wasn't really stressing about it at all. I enjoyed every moment.
When you look back, because I always talk to people about how I was so spoiled my first year here. That crosstown football game was so stacked with talent. I mean, you look at how you're at Tech, Archie LaFerge or AJ LaFerge is at Carroll as one of their premier running backs. And then you have Reed Harris at Boston College, who shows up in my highlight reels all the time on Facebook. And so does Cole Taylor with the Cats. I mean, when you look back at that senior class and your time there, I mean, how impressed are you with the talent that you were inevitably surrounded with?
Like I said, that's just a special thing to look back on again. We all are pretty lucky to have each other and make each other better. Iron sharpens iron, and I was definitely thankful for it all. And everybody was friends too back then. It was pretty fun. But
Yeah, I it definitely made my job a lot easier when you guys were all friends. It
yeah,
seems like that's been a little lost lately, but maybe we'll circle back around to it at some point. But yeah, man, crosstowns have been so great. That first year, yeah, you guys really brought it, and I really enjoyed that. So now moving on to your time as an ore digger. Obviously, your third year there, and you guys have completed an undefeated season, first time in history. Frontier Conference champions. You guys went to the second round of the playoffs. I mean, what was that experience like for you?
that's something I'll remember for the rest of my life. You don't know what the next season's going to be like, and we had a lot of people kind of looking down on us. Like we lost a lot of seniors, and a lot of people were saying, "Well, you guys going to be good this season?" And then all I would say is, we'll see. I got the confidence in this upcoming team and upcoming seniors that we can be great, and I think we proved it for sure. And being a part of a championship team like that was something I've never been a part of. So I will definitely cherish it for the rest of my life. I'll remember Tech football forever, and yeah, it's just a different feeling.
Well, one thing I got to know since you've experienced it now, I mean, so you came from an undefeated season, the first time in history Montana Tech has done that, Frontier Conference Championship. So there's the highest of highs right there. But then you
Mhm.
guys get knocked out in the second round. Second round is still, I think it's nothing to hang your head on to a familiar foe in the College of Idaho. But a lot of athletes will say that a loss like that stings almost more than the feeling of undefeated season or a conference championship. What were your thoughts? Like what's sticking with you now in the off season?
Well, what's sticking with me, the loss is one thing, but you can't hang your head on a loss like that. I mean, it definitely stings, but you got to look back and look at what we did as a team, as a brotherhood. I think that's what you have to do. And the way I looked at it, I'm like, this sucks, but look back at what we did. We're going to go down as in history as one of the best teams to do it at Tech. And I mean, that's all I need right there. Remembering the brothers that we played with each other, and all the coaching staff, everybody having each other's backs. That's a special thing to look back on, and that's all I'm focusing on and that's all I'm remembering. Honestly, it's just the feeling of winning with each other and having each other's backs when we did lose.
Well, I was honored to be part of that season, even in some small way. I wanted to make it back for a playoff game, and the schedule just wouldn't allow it as far as what I had going on. But I did, make sure to check every Saturday, final scores, updates at the end of every quarter, but to be there for that home opener against Western, the season to literally kick off with the Levi run back for a touchdown was so special to me. I mean, you guys were a lot of fun to watch, and it was a great time to see that. I don't, you don't have to ask me how good your coach is because I believe he's, one of the best in the state. But from you, how good is Coach Sampson?
He's amazing. He's a guy that, you could just go into his office and talk about his day and like your day, if you got relationship problems, anything that's going wrong in your life, he'll sit down and talk with you. And that's something rare for sure. I mean, Coach Sampson's something different.
What does it take for you as a player to, have a coach? Not that you've had many, obviously, and that's a good thing, but, is there a certain characteristic about a coach that makes you as a player want to play harder for them? Like something about their personality or a question they've asked you or just an interaction you've had?
Um, I'd say their leadership is pretty easy to follow, like the way they lead the team and them wanting to win, and their humbleness and um, just their way to push you. And I think that's a coach you need to play for, like somebody who's going to push you every single day and not just kind of not really talk to you because if a coach isn't really coaching you or talking to you or having fun with you, teasing you, there's something wrong. So that's not Tech. The coaching staff at Tech is always pushing you, always trying to talk to you, always teasing you. It's definitely special.
That's awesome, man. Well, one thing that's a little off topic that I got to ask you about, just because I'm sure that your brother is going to find himself on this series at some point down, in the future, a season or two from now. But you guys, both phenomenal football players. And I was told several times by a few different people that your brother could have come down there, lined up with you, probably started his freshman year. He had a few other colleges that were looking at him for football, but he is going to go and steer wrestle. And him and I had a little bit of a conversation about it on the coaches show during the football season. But did you see that coming? Does it make sense to you? Like what's going on there?
I honestly, I could see it coming. I definitely saw it coming. As a brother, I'll support him either way. Like whatever he's gonna do, I'm there for him. And if he takes his football explosive skills and his strength into steer wrestling, that's great. I think he can be great at steer wrestling. So I will definitely follow him there.
I mean, your path to football makes a lot of sense. His path to football would have made just as much sense. How did you see steer wrestling coming? Like, what was the moment where you're like, oh, he'll probably end up steer wrestling?
Oh man, probably when I talked to him about how his recruitment was going, it
Yeah.
was kind of an answer back to me. He's just like, I don't know if I want to play ball. And I'm like, okay, well, there you go, follow your heart. And if you don't like it now, you're probably not going to like it in college, because it's a full-time job in
Yeah.
college and it's football every day. And yeah.
So your brother had you obviously to, go to for advice or to lean on for tough decisions like that. But what about for you? Like who helped influence you to go to Tech or help, make the tough decisions? I don't know who else was in the running if there's a universe out there for Wyatt DeVoss where he wasn't a Montana Tech or digger, he was something else. But what did that whole process look like for you?
Well, I'd say a big one there was Coach Cheetah. He was a great one to look up to and for my college upcoming career. And, I with my dream of being a college football player somewhere, I didn't care where I played. I just wanted to play the sport. I love it and I will give everything into the sport. And Coach Cheetah was a great one to sit down with and just talk with about it, and I knew Tech was the place for me because of all the good connections and all the, you know, Great Falls High players. There's a lot of them there, and Newt was there, and that was a big key factor for me. Like he's again my best friend, and yeah, that's a big reason why I went to tech.
Awesome. Well, you were the 40 there. You were the 40 for Great Falls High. I mean, how did that come about? Were you able to actually get that number? It was available, or did you have to, I don't know, sometimes players, I guess, bargain with other players like, hey, if you give me that number, you could have this. And I don't know what you guys have to offer at the college level.
Well, that one was kind of funny because Matt Whitcomb, a great corner linebacker, he was the 40 there, and at the time I was a redshirt, and I was actually, I think we were on break. I don't know if it was spring or Christmas break, but Coach Sampson actually called me and said, "Hey, what number do you like, and what number do you want?" And I said, "Well, I know this is kind of a long shot because Matt Whitcomb has it, and is the 40 open?" He's like, "Actually, that's open." I said, "I will take that number right there,"
Wow.
and I'm like, "Wow, that's kind of awesome how that worked out." The first number I could wear as a my first college start was my high school number, and I was all over that.
Man, you're going to be
So,
40 till the day you die, which is awesome. So that leads us
mhm.
to the home stretch of the tough questions. Then we have the fun ones. What's life after college look like for Wyatt DeVoss?
Oh, geez. Well, I'm not sure. Kind of taking it day by day. I'm studying welding right now, so I might be going into the welding business. I've also thought about joining the guard and being a fireman for them. I actually the job that I kind of dream of is being a fireman, and I'm kind of looking towards that. I'm looking JJ Triplett, like he's texting me. We're still in great contact with each other. We're hanging out a lot, and he's actually on a fireman squad and working in that area. And I think it'd be pretty dang cool if could be a part of his squad. And but I don't know. Honestly, I'm not set on it. Not set in stone. But it's probably going to be a fireman or a welder in some area, maybe both.
Man, that's crazy. Like you've always loved doing the work. Like, I'm not going to say the term getting your hands dirty because I don't think that that's what it is. But you know what I mean? It's like you want to
Hmm.
go and you want to do the work. And I think that that's been one of my favorite characteristics about you. And both of those jobs sound like they could be awesome. And one thing I'll tell you though is, my origins come from arena indoor football, and players like you, even at the smaller colleges, those teams they'll find a way to take care of you and go and help them win a championship. So if you ever decide, when college is officially winding down for you that you want to play just a little longer, you let me know because I mean you can always go and be a firefighter or a welder. But if there's a few more years you want at football, I know a few teams that would love to have you on the defensive side.
Yeah, I will remember that.
Well, so obviously you've looked into a few career paths. So do you know, are you going 4 years, 5 years at Tech? Like, how long will it take you to get to that next chapter of your life?
Well, I'm definitely coming back this next season, and then I
Awesome.
believe next season too. So I have two more seasons, and that'll be my fifth year. And I kind of need that fifth year to kind of do if I like get my EMT, like if I need to become a fireman and or my CDL. I don't know. My dad, he's kind of wanting me to become a truck driver. He was for 20 years, and I'm like, Dad, I don't know if I can do that. Like sit down and just sit in a truck all day long. I love moving and working with my hands and stuff, but I think I'd get pretty bored of that pretty fast. But I don't know. It might be a good thing to get my CDL.
I mean, I think it would be a good thing to get the CDL just to have it, but I will
Yeah.
say, it does take a certain personality and kind of type of person to do that kind of work. My father-in-law, he was a long distance truck driver like that, and he enjoyed it for a time, but he has since not done it for several years, and he doesn't
Hmm.
really miss it. He said, there were things that were great about it. It's like your home is right there with you, and you can set it up
Yeah.
however you want, and it's just you and the road. But he said that when you depending on your routes and whatever, he's like there can be serious complications that are just a headache that you wish you could avoid that you can't, depending on who you're
Exactly.
delivering to and how their system works. And then of course the road is always a challenge. I mean, there's videos floating around right now because we've had 85-mile-an-hour winds of trucks getting
Yeah.
blown over. So
Yeah. My dad has some crazy stories. Like I forget what it's called, something, some sort of brake, not your J brake or something, but um, he's had to drive through those windstorms like that, and his trailer would kind of tilt up. He could look in the mirror and see his wheels picking up, and then he'd pull something, and it would come back down, and he had to stop and pull over, and catch his breath a little bit. And he has multiple snowstorm stories where he could barely see 10 feet out from himself. And I'm like, yeah, man, that sounds pretty spooky. It's hard work. And honestly, if I ever did become a truck driver, you ever seen the movie Over the Top?
Yeah, yeah.
I would definitely have one of those arm wrestling things in there, like just so I could keep up my lifting. So,
The closest thing that I ever came to doing a job like that was 2020, which obviously messed up a lot of things. So I had to kind of improvise and get, whatever job you could. And at the time, I had a buddy who worked for a Ford dealership, like we have Bison Ford here. They had in Sioux Falls, which is where we lived at the time. So I got a job as a parts delivery guy. So we would load up one of those transit vans that you see, and I would go and deliver to all the mom and pop shops around, Iowa, Minnesota, and then of course back to South Dakota. And I enjoyed it for what it was because it was me and my playlist, and that's very liberating feeling, nobody telling you, hey, do this, do that. It's you have your route and you go and you drop off your stuff. But then, there are times where it just seems like, okay, once you've done that, by Friday you're ready for it to be Friday, and then after a
Mhm.
couple of months you're like, I'm ready for there to be some kind of break because this is like the most repetitive routine of all time. So I think for me, I could see the value in it, but it's also, like I said, not for everybody. Me
Yeah.
personally, I'd rather not have you drop off groceries or whatever. I'd rather have you coming up to rescue me out of some burning building. So that's my vote. I go for the firefighter, but I think you're going to be great at no matter what you do because you've always had the drive to do it, and I think that's what makes you one of the best stars in Montana. Is just you're always so humble and you're always willing to do the work, and so that's always been one of my favorite things about you, man. So
Thank you.
now for the fun stuff. I got to know if your pregame ritual has that changed. Is it the same? Cole Taylor has apparently found a solution in a Rice Krispie treat before every game.
Oh, geez. I don't really have a pregame. I'm just listening to music. I don't really do energy drinks. I just sit there and lock myself in, focus in and think about film and what the tackle's going to be doing, and that's pretty much my pregame. I just sit there and think
How much have you learned about the game through your experience, and then, as you said, watching film?
a lot. I'd say like it's different reads every time from a tackle, and there's so much more to the game. Like coming out of high school, I knew it was going to be taken to a different level and stuff, and I was willing. I'm excited to learn all that, and I'm happy I did. I got the wisdom, and not. I would maybe I don't know, maybe come back and coach for Great Falls High for a D lineman coach, if maybe for a side job for fireman and a coach. Who knows? The experience is always there, and I'll remember it for a long time.
You're talking too many good things right now. You got to stop that. That's like the perfect scenario right there. Okay. Did anybody at either level have a weird pregame ritual that you were just like, okay, I'm glad I don't do anything because you do apparently all the things?
Gosh, I don't think so. I think everybody was just sitting in their locker and listening to music and stretch. It was all pretty normal. I haven't seen anything crazy.
In Great Falls High, who had the loudest personality? Like the guy that you would see would be very loud and showy on the field, but they were also that way off the field.
Oh, geez. Um, hmm. Well, everybody would do like an amazing job of communicating, so everybody was really loud, like all the time. And gosh, am I allowed to say coach? I have to say Coach Allen, like the defensive coordinator. He is always talking and he's like always making jokes, and like the whole team loves him. Like he is amazing with the jokes, makes everybody laugh. Always talking, and everybody loves him. So I'd have to go with my Coach Allen on that one.
Who's the best trash talker at Tech?
Gonzer for sure. Peyton
God,
Gonzer.
that's like no hesitation there
No,
whatsoever.
no. I can hear him all. He's pretty good at it. He's right behind me there, and It's his pretty good trash talker.
Has he ever said anything where you were like, man, I'm glad you're on my team because I would have ripped you a new one by now?
No, honestly, he's not like horrible. He's pretty good at getting like he's good at getting in your head, but like
I
he's
see.
it's just that kind of stuff. He doesn't say anything crazy, at least nothing that I've heard. But it's just how he plays, and it's what gets him in his game. So I'm like, I'm all for it.
Who has the messiest locker, whether it's at Tech or at Great Falls High?
Oh man, Oaks might hurt me on this one, but might have to go with Oaks. No, plenty of respect towards Oaks though, but on that question, I gotta go Oaks.
Okay. What does it mean to be Montana tough?
What does it mean to be Montana tough? Well, you definitely have a lot of, I think, responsibility to carry that one for sure. Not being too lazy, always working, always doing the little things, learning all the fundamentals and taking the time to fall back on your craft when you have a bad game or, and having that mentality to be able like, all right, I need to step back and look at my fundamentals and take it one step at a time again to be able to conquer this next challenge. And I think that's what it means to be Montana tough, being able to fall back on your craft and learning more.
All right, Memorial Stadium or Bob Green Field?
Oh man. Uh Something's different always about Friday Night Lights. So I'd have to go Memorial Stadium on that one, but that let me tell you that Bob Greenfield gets banging though, like popping when it's a playoff game. That it was the loudest I've ever heard there, and everybody could barely hear what the call was. We have to go by the signs, and nobody could hear each other communicating, and had to yell louder. It was that was definitely special too. I remember that one for a long time. Bob Green can get loud.
Yeah, your guys' backdrop is pretty legit there too, because it's not the city of Butte. It's like just on the outside, overlooking like
Yeah.
the interstate and stuff. And the way that you guys light up the V is pretty cool there. The must go to post game spot in Butte.
Uh oh man. Metals is always a good one. Um, there's a Irish place that I can't remember. Oh, Sean O'Donnell's, I think. I think it's that. I don't know. But Sparky's is also another great one to go to, and Casa Granda's. There's some pretty good places to eat in Butte after the game, and yeah,
Yeah, I have
I'd
been
have
to
to do.
Sparky's. I will agree that is a legit spot. That was really good.
Always good.
Yeah, I guess there's like the oldest Chinese restaurant in history is there somewhere.
I've heard a rumor about that. I think that is true. I've never been there,
Yeah,
so I don't know, but I've heard a rumor.
they were closed the day that I was there, sadly. So we went to Sparky's, which was a nice, compromise. Still, the food was great. When you come
Yeah,
back home to Great Falls, what's the one place you got to go to before you head back to Butte?
best walk for
Nice.
sure. Best walk for sure.
What do you get? What's build your order?
Oh, geez, I do the biggest plate. I get the chow mein, the mugu, the general chicken, and then the orange chicken, and then usually an egg roll. And then if something else looks good, I throw that in there too. I chow down in there a lot.
Well, obviously, sports players and athletes are synonymous with superstition. Have you ever been superstitious, and what was the superstition?
Well, not really. I'd say the only superstition, it might be a little silly, but I'd always wear the same socks and the same underwear. So that's
Did,
mine.
did you at least wash them in between
Oh
games?
yeah, I wash them. I'm not that crazy.
Oh, that's so great. Oh no, I watched him. I'm not that guy. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's what was your favorite thing about being a Bison football player?
Favorite thing there was the again falling back on the brotherhood there and the love for each other and the coaching. It was very special. Like I'll remember that. That's the one thing I will say every time I get asked that question is the everybody had each other's backs, and the coaching there was amazing and everybody would follow it and be all in, and that's something you can't teach. That's a natural thing with players that coming up and they see that um, and they want to follow it.
Who's your favorite player on Tech?
My favorite player on Tech. Uh, I have to go Zach Newton. I looked up to him like
Yeah, yeah.
all my life, and he, taught me the strings with lifting and how many reps I should be doing in sets and what the proteins I should be. He literally taught me a lot, and with my work ethic and his wisdom, put that into one, and it's just made a great bond with each other, and I'm definitely gonna miss him a lot when he's gone, and um, I'll definitely be a friend for life, and he will too. So hopefully we stay in contact.
Yeah, Zach's a good dude, man. Interviewed him before the first Shrine game, which had Coach Sampson. So yeah, I can attest to that. Very good dude. What was your favorite crosstown, whether you played in it or it can be football, basketball, softball? Did you have a favorite crosstown during your time at Great Falls High?
Um, well, I played a little bit in the big snow game my sophomore year when we played. That was when Levi had a great game and Reed and Kale, everybody was balling out in that one. That one was fun to be a part of for sure. I really enjoyed the junior year football game too. That one was fun. And the senior year, I'd say just going undefeated, but that's just how the game goes. You can't win them all, and I don't know. I
Uh, that
enjoyed every game.
that that game is so much fun every year. I don't care what the records are, man. Like it's
Yeah,
just so
I'm
fun to
with
be a
you. I
part of.
agree.
But I will say though, when people ask me like, well, what was your favorite crosstown? It's not football. I mean, that first one that was great, and there was the 7-0 one the year after, but that basketball game, my first year that went to double overtime, that was probably my favorite crosstown, just because that was the first time I had actually witnessed a kid get carried off by the student section after a win like that, and it was crazy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So that was a lot of fun. All right, Christmas stuff. Since we're in the season here, this will premiere in between Christmas and New Year's. And so, a couple things. What is the worst Christmas gift you've ever gotten?
The worst one?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I don't know if you can think like that. Every gift has its meaning. I can't think of one right now. I mean,
You're just
I
too
mean,
nice.
like socks are always great to get. I'd say that's like maybe
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, everybody knows the story of the Red Ryder BB gun, of A Christmas Story. One, did you ever have a Red Ryder BB gun?
Yeah, I had one actually I actually won it at a rodeo as
Nice.
a raffle ticket, and when we were at the Dusty Greeker Bull Riding Challenge.
Well, the whole movie is about, little Ralphie wanting to get his Red Ryder BB gun and how he's willing to beg, plead, bargain, all that. What was your Red Ryder BB gun growing up? What was that gift that you went to all lengths to try to secure that you would get that year?
Uh, I have to say football cards. I
Really?
collect a lot of football cards, and um, I'd always want more, you know.
Dude, if you've got a book still, I've got a whole thing of them that I used to collect cards all the time. Like, we should get together and see if we can trade some.
I still trade. Like literally yesterday, I traded Coach Cheetah. I had a Dan Marino PSA 10 downtown, case hit, and I gave him two of my Michael Jordans. And what I got was a pretty good trade, honestly. I got a lot of Drake May rookies and um, a pretty sweet Michael Jordan Soaring Stars insert. And if that grades well, that's a pretty valuable card.
Are
Pretty
you the
excited
one
about it.
that's getting all the Drake Mays? Because Riley Collette, huge, Patriots fan, as you know, and he's on tech. And for his birthday last year, I went to the collectibles place here in Great Falls. I was going to get him
Yep.
a couple of Drake May cards. Somebody had come in before that and cleaned them out. Was
Clean
that
them out.
you?
No, I don't think, no, that wasn't me. But no, I've made one trade straight across with Riley for just a rated rookie of Drake May, and in return I got a PSA 10 Russell Wilson, so rookie card.
All
And I'm a
right.
big Seahawks fan, so go Hawks.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I'm glad I dressed the way that I did today then. Seriously, we'll have to, all of us will have to get together and take a look at cards. I don't even know what mine are worth anymore. But okay. Next one on the Christmas list is the best Christmas movie of all time. There you go. No, not a worst, the best.
Oh geez. There's a lot out there. I really like Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Pretty popular one.
That one does not get old. Doesn't get old. And if we're going classic, I mean that is a classic, but I guess more cartoon, I have to say the Polar Express.
Okay, yeah, that's a legit
That's a
one.
good one.
All right, and last one. Fill in or complete the sentence. Finish the sentence. There we go. I don't know what's wrong with me this morning. It's not Christmas until.
After Thanksgiving.
Man, there's a lot of you guys that firmly stand on that belief that Christmas starts after Thanksgiving. But, there's a
Yeah.
lot of family oriented people in Montana, so it doesn't surprise me. It's just I've heard that
Yeah.
response a lot.
Thanksgiving is it's Thanksgiving is heavily underrated. It needs to be overrated because it I love the food.
You guys do like a turkey bowl at your house, you and your brother?
We do lots of turkey, we do ham, all sorts of
No, like
all the good
a
stuff.
family football game.
Oh, no, we don't do those.
Oh, okay. I was like,
No.
man, I'd like to be there to see that. Jeez. All right, dude. Well, hopefully this isn't the last time that we talk in this capacity. You still got 2 more years at Tech. I'm very excited to be, part of those in whatever way that I can. But a world where there's no DeVos playing football anymore is a very sad one. And your brother has decided that football is not his path, and that's fine. I'm stoked to see him in rodeo. But
For
we
sure.
still have Wyatt DeVos playing football, which is a very good thing. So, before we wrap up here, we like to end with a little bit of advice, some Zen wisdom, whatever you want to throw at us to end on from Wyatt DeVos.
I'd say as a young kid, if your dream is to be a college football player, the biggest thing is keep your nose clean and your grades up. I'd say for sure. It's kids my I was a kid like that. Like I kept my nose clean. I tried my best and but grades, I struggled with grades, and I realized like how important grades are now for like football and wanting to play college. And uh, I just say, the weight room will never betray you, as long as you're doing everything right in there and getting your proteins, good food. You'll, if you can be good, great in the weight room, you can be great on the field. Build your craft.
Yeah, when you guys get that offer and you commit, you are still student athletes, student, very important part. I'm glad that you've learned that and picked that up and are practicing that because, yeah, it's sometimes an overlooked, what I feel maybe some feel is a overrated aspect of it. But no, the schooling part is still most definitely there. So,
Hmm.
keep your nose clean and keep to the grind. Thank you so much, Wyatt. This has been a great conversation, man. I really glad you made time during the holiday break. I know it gets busy, but thank you so much, man, for your time, really.
Yeah, heck yeah, thank you.
All right, folks. So that does it for another great episode of Stars of Big Sky Country. And so we will see you in 2026. But for now, until then, for Wyatt DeVos, I am, as always, the T Man, Richard T Man, and you can catch us among the stars of Big Sky Country. We'll see you then.